right, everybody, we're on Rainy Lake. Justin's running the trolling motor right now. I am going to show you a finished hair jig. I showed you kind of how I tied. I'm going to show you a finished hair jig, and I'm going to show you how I rig it. And I would be willing to bet we're about to wreck some big smallmouth on a little ball of fluff. So here's one of the hair jigs that we tied. You can see it is very fluffy. There's lots of marabou, and this is a 4-inch general. Almost flew out of the boat. We're gonna cut a little piece of this off, rig it on a hair jig, and cast at some big smallmouth. So here we go. We're just gonna take this general. We're gonna cut, I don't know, a couple inches off the end of it. Gonna blow some of that hair back. We're gonna rig it on the end of our hair jig. Just gives it a little bit more weight, so it's easier to cast. You can cast a little bit farther. There we go. There's the finalized product. There's one, guys. That might be a good one.
That is a good one.
It's a nice fish.
You know what? Let's net that one.
There we go. That did not take very long. Probably a close to 3 pound or close to 3 pound smallmouth on that little hair jig. Gosh, just a beautiful fish. Looks like a post spawn fish, kind of skinny, a little bit beat up. Beautiful bass. Yeah. I'm glad. You keep catching Mr. Pike. I'll go after Mr. Bass.
As long as I keep getting hooked like this. Oh no.
No. That's a Rainy Lake double right there. A smallmouth bass and and Mr. Pike.
Mr. Pike.
That one was a little pre-spawn female, I believe.
Yours was?
I think so. Very, very fat. Oh, wake by my bait. Multiple wakes. What?
There he is.
Oh, that's a good one.
Dude, that is a good one.
Oh yeah, baby. That's a big one. Maybe. Wherever he decides to go.
That is a good one, dude. Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. That's a big fish. Yes, dude. Look at that sucker. Oh, that's a stud. On a hair jig that I made in the middle of the night in my office. Oh wow. I bet that is an over 19-inch long fish.
Measure it and get a picture.
I'm gonna measure it and weigh it and get a picture. Oh yeah, definitely 19. I mean, dude, swallows the bump board.
Yeah.
Still pretty fat. I don't think that's a spawning fish.
No, I don't think so either.
There was 2 huge boils when my bait hit the water.
I'm trying to find that other one. I know there was more than one fish there.
Oh yeah. Dude, that's such a long fish.
I got the other one.
Is it big?
Small. No, it's
Yeah,
tiny.
it's a little one. Well, I'm glad this one won the race then.
Yep. That was right where you caught that one.
Yeah.
That was in there too.
Good spot for bug.
So that was 12 and 13, I think.
I think so.
I might get my phone.
Oh, goodness gracious. 3.5 pounder, 348.
That's crazy.
Isn't it nuts how long that sucker is?
Yep. The only one I've seen that's that long or longer is the one you lost the first day.
There's one. Oh yeah. Just another gorgeous bass.
Dude, look at that cast I just made.
Well, you should get a bite.
I mean, it's a quarter mile down the road. So. Here he comes. Here he comes. They don't want to eat it.
They just want to taste it. Oh, now my bait's gone. Got it.
Of course, this one stays on.
Yeah, average Joe minus. Instant. Ooh, that's a big one. That's a big one. Oh, he's got a big old lamprey sore on his head. Dude, that's a good one.
Net?
Nah, I'll get him.
You sure?
Yeah, I'll get him.
It's a good one.
Crazy joker.
Nice. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's so much fun. Two fish. Those are bass, I bet.
But Rabbit, I wasn't going to eat it. I was just going to taste it.
We're gonna find out. No. And the hair catches everything, guys. Large Mr. Zipper Bones and big bass. Don't bite me off. Look at that. That's a face only a mother could love. Oh. 19, 20 inch, yeah. Fish was in like 5 feet of water.
Everything loves the sun.
Everything loves the sun.
And this is just awesome.
Good one too. Oh man. Just target casting boulders with a freaking hair jig. I don't know that it gets more fun than that. Oh man. Oh yeah. Puking up bug. Gosh, what a gorgeous fish. Mm.
I feel like it's one I've already gotten to bite too, because I got a few bites in there that didn't. Like
Didn't stick. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. See, this is a deal right here.
Ooh, that's bad for my trolling motor.
I bet you he's on that sprig by that boulder. He came from that.
They do love sprigs.
Oh, dude, that's a big one.
That is a good one. Oh yeah, that's a good one. It's so cool. They have no water to fight in, so they're just being extra crazy. Oh, so cool. Oh yeah. That's a big old pre-spawner.
That's a good one.
Well guys, I hope you have enjoyed watching just a slugfest, or are enjoying watching just us smash a bunch of smallmouth on hair jigs and topwaters. I don't know if you've ever had the opportunity to do this or not, but if you haven't, you need to, because it is about as much fun as bass fishing gets. Today I'm going to be showing you how I make the hair jigs that I tie to take up north to fish for smallmouth. And it's a little bit different than the way a lot of people do it. It's kind of based off of what Jeff Gustafson does. But I've got a hook from a local tackle company that I use on a little bitty jig head. And I think I don't know if I'd say I tie it different, but I think that my hook setup is a little bit different than what most of the northern guys do. Not saying it's better, just saying it's the way that I prefer it, and it's what I've had the most success with. So we're going to look at tying two different jig heads, two different sizes, and by the time you see this, I assume that there will probably be some pretty awesome footage of catching some big smallmouth on this exact bait up on Rainy Lake in Ontario. What we're starting with here is a 3/32 ounce jig head with a 1/0 Gamakatsu round bend black nickel hook. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this jig head, and right underneath of where the bait keeper meets the jig head, we're going to make a little circular groove around it with a 3/32 inch drill bit, so that we have a starting spot to kind of tie our marabou and our fly tying string to. And what'll happen at the end of it is it'll kind of look something like this. I'm not sure the camera will focus. You can kind of see there's a little collar there right underneath of the head of the jig. So here we go. I'm just going to run around this jig head a couple of times with this drill bit. Nice and easy. And there you go. You can kind of see there's just a small groove cut around the bottom of that jig head. So I've got a bunch of these 3/32 ounce jig heads ready to go. But I wanted to talk about the other jig head that I'm going to be tying. This is just straight up, this is a Berkeley half moon or half head jig head. It's got a 1/0 hook on it. It's not a Gamakatsu, but it is a 1/0 hook. It's pretty good, and these jig heads are ready to go. So if you want to kind of get into this and tie some of your own, but don't want to deal with like shaving your own jig heads or doing anything funky, start right here. This is a great little jig head, and I mean they come in 1/16 and 1/8 ounce, so you can just buy a pack of 1/16 or a pack of 8s and tie some marabou straight to it. So the next step in this whole process is going to be taking this jig head that is just plain lead and turning it black. And to do that, I just use some powder paint. You can get this at any local tackle store, tackle warehouse, Amazon, whatever. Super easy to use, and I'll show you how we do that. So all I have here is a little candle that's lit. I've got my can of powder paint. I'm going to shake that up a little bit. And we're going to heat up this jig head. Now you got to be careful with this, you don't burn your fingers because the hook will eventually get hot. But I'm just going to heat this jig head up over this flame for maybe 10-15 seconds. Make sure I get all the exposed lead, all that stuff. And then I'm just going to dip it in this powder paint. As soon as I dip it in the powder paint, you can see that it's now black. Now I'm going to heat it briefly over this flame again to kind of smooth it out. And then we're actually going to bake this in the oven too, so it gets super duper hard. But after you've kind of baked it in that flame that second time, smooth the paint out, just wave it around a little bit, let it cool. And then I'm just going to toss this on a paper plate before I go hang them all in the oven rack. Here we go, guys. We got a decent little pile of them put together here. Got 25 or so on that plate. What we're going to do next is we're going to actually put them in the oven. 375 degrees. We're going to put them in the oven for maybe 10 to 12 minutes. What that'll do is that'll really set this powder paint, and these things won't chip. The paint won't come off of them whenever you hit them on a rock or a fish bites them or whatever. Well, we've got them out of the oven. They're all super duper hard. Sure, you can kind of see we've still got that little groove in there that we're going to be using. And all I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you guys actually how I tie this jig. So we're going to start with some fly tying line. This is black uni thread, and I'll have all the stuff linked in the description below. But this is black uni thread. It is 220 DD, and it's 3/0, so it's about the heaviest uni thread that you can buy that'll actually work for, you know, trout flies or bass lures. So here we go, guys. Here's kind of how I tie them and how I get started. So I'm just going to take this black uni thread. I'm going to make a couple of loops around inside my collar that I made, and I'm just going to tie a double overhand knot. So 1 time over, 2 times over, and straight down into that little collar that we created. Then I'll have my scissors. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. All we're going to do is we're going to cut off this tag end, get rid of that, and then I'm going to grab one of these feathers. I am currently using, there's a couple of different kinds of Marabou, but there's one that I like the best. This is Hairline. This is my favorite one. This is Hairline. This is the X Select Black Marabou. The thing about the Marabou, guys, there's a bunch of different kinds you can get. Some of it's good, some of it's bad. I would honestly tell you most of it's not very good. But what you want to do is you want to look for these longer feathers. So you can see here, this is one of the ones I was tying with last night. You can see here this feather has got a big vein running down the center of it. What you want is you want these longer hairs that are off here to the side. So all you're going to do is you're going to take off about a 1-inch section of this hair. You're going to pinch it kind of to the side, and then you're just going to cut that off with the scissors right off the side. And what I'm left with when I do that is I'm left with a big tuft Marabou, just like this, that is roughly all the same length. Now, some of it's not going to all be perfectly the same length, and like you'll kind of work on this. The more you do it, you'll get better at it. I'm going to take a couple of these. On some of these, I'll kind of snip the end of it off so it all is roughly the same length. But I just snipped the end of it off there. And your braid scissors work really well for this. I was just too lazy to run out to my boat, but your braid scissors that you cut braid with work really, really well. You'll stick this just right next to that little collar that you created, and I like to lock it down with 3 or 4 wraps. Take my little tag end puffed, wrap that down with a couple of wraps, and then I have a chunk of Marabou stuck to the side of my jig. And you just repeat that process over and over. And I will say too, I have attempted to tie these without a fly tying vise. It's impossible. You do have to have a fly tying vise. It is a must-have for anything like this. If you're trying to hold your jig in your hand and do it all, it just doesn't really work. So after I've kind of worked my way around most of the jig, I'm actually going to undo it from the vise. I'm going to blow down the back of it to see where I have some thin spots. So if you look at this one, you can see I'm kind of thin right here and I'm kind of thin right there. So I'm going to stick the jig back in the vise. I'm going to grab another piece of hair. I'm going to try to put it on those thin spots so that we just have a nice fluffy black little puff ball of jig. All right, you can see here we've got a pretty full jig. We don't have a whole lot of empty spots. We don't have a whole lot of hairy spots hanging out there that are thin. We just got a nice little black puff. So all you're going to do then is I just like to put it back in the vise. I'm going to cut myself off, I don't know, 5 or 6 inches of fly tying line, and I'm going to finish it off with 3 cross hitches. So just a traditional box knot, X knot, whatever you want to call it, that we're going to lock down. I'm going to come back again. Oops, messed that one up. Sometimes it helps to lick this fly line too if it gets too frayed out. Lock that one in just one more time. Nope. Again, I am not a fly tying guy, so there's probably a better way to do this, but this is just what I've done. Boom. We got it locked in. Flip that tag end, and there we go. That is a smallmouth catching little dude.